les va? Buenos días, buenas noches, según el día que nos estén mirando. Otra vez transmitiendo desde un Mandaloriano. Nuevamente, por cuestiones de señal y lluvia de meteoritos, no nos pudimos comunicar con el Mandaloriano, pero nos comunicamos, como siempre, con el amigo Gabriel, para charlar con Anthony. Él nos va a contar un poco su historia, lo que Anthony está haciendo de muy buena manera. Es hermoso lo que hace, ya se los va a contar y van a poder conocerlo más. Entonces nada, no vamos a los preámbulos ni nada, no tenemos al Mandaloriano, se los debemos en este otro video también. Los dejo con Gabriel y charlamos sobre todo con Anthony, que es nuestro invitado estrella del día de hoy. Gaby, ¿cómo andás?
¿Qué tal? Muy bien, aquí andamos. Hi, Anthony. We explained at the first what is un Mandaloriano. What is our channel? Well, let me introduce myself. I am a photojournalist, and Adrian and I are working in a travel tourism industry. We are a travel and tourism graduates. Well, so in our interview, is there a place for humor and jokes? I think this suggests that a sense of humor in our workplace is identified with success. And then a sense of humor was a second only to work, and is identified for a marker of high emotional intelligence. Here with us is Anthony's work. Then I'm want to ask you, Anthony, what was like growing up in Pennsylvania? You're from Pennsylvania, right?
That's correct. Yes. Well, geez, I mean, it was just, I grew up in a very small town. We had one traffic light. And, it's just, you think that's the whole world, and you're kind of unaware of everything else that's out there. Mm-hmm. But you have your friends, and you bond, and you develop from there. I think the thing that was unique about growing up, there was a lot of nature, so that was great. Mm-hmm. I missed that moving to the big city. And I moved. I moved when I went to high school. We moved out to a more rural area, and my backyard was a mountain. It was just awesome. We just go out, just hike. We just go everywhere, and it was just you can't beat it. A lot of adventure.
Okay, this is great. Now you are now actually in LA, right?
Correct. Yes.
Working in LA. So what do you do? You.
Well, I'm an assistant director. I work mainly on commercials. Sometimes I'll do a feature or a TV show, but commercials are my thing. It's where all my friends work. Basically, at my level, what I do for my job is when I work on a commercial, everyone who you see who's on camera, mm-hmm. I'm responsible for getting them on camera. I have to get them checked in the morning. I have to get them through hair and makeup, dressed, approved mm-hmm. by the client, put them in front of the camera. And just depending on the situation, if there's a lot of background, I'll be putting them in frame and telling them, do this, do that, walk over there, sit here, be quiet, mm-hmm. all this stuff. It can be a fun job.
You're also a freelance writer. Okay. Correct.
Yes. Just in my spare time, I just try to write. If I may, on Instagram, I finally got a movie poster done for, and I think it's going to be ultimately an animated project in the vein of Pixar that I wrote called Hallex. Okay. So it's basically the tagline is, what really happened at Roswell. It's the Roswell story from the aliens' point of view.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, I see the poster. Mm-hmm. There a poster? Yeah. Do you know Bill Plimpton?
I've worked with Bill Plimpton. He's a big Beatles fan. Bill's a really nice guy. Yeah. I used to do animation And the company I worked for, they repped him as a director.
Well, we are in touch also with Will Clinton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Acme Filmworks, Ron Diamond. That was the company I worked for. So he knows Ron Diamond well. He won't remember me, but he knows Ron Diamond.
Great. This is great. And tell me, what about the Penn State Film Program graduate? You are from this program graduate?
That's correct. Wow, you guys really did your homework on me.
Yeah, sure.
You know what?
Journalist.
I'm a journalist.
when I went, look, I everybody goes to college. It's their first time to college. I didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. I thought the film program when I went was really good. We were still working with film. The way this program was structured, we made films every year. And that it just provided invaluable experience. So I enjoyed the program. I got to make a couple of short films. I got to make a lot of mistakes and figure out the type of filmmaker that I can be or want to be. So it was a great experience. I thought it was awesome.
Great. I have a little question. I think it's a little, but it's a big question. What does Star Wars mean to you?
Well, look, it's inspirational. I mean, I was like 7 or 8 when the first came out. And I don't think when you're that young and when something that mind-blowing comes along, you don't really appreciate the significance of it. And the magic of the original trilogy is that they seem to have grown with you. It's like, especially Empire Strikes Back, it's like, look, it's a darker one, but it's so philosophical and it has so many messages. And in fact, at Penn State, like they had us do an assignment of like, show us some clips that inspire you to be a filmmaker. And one of the clips I shown specifically was from The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda. After Luke failed to lift the X-wing, and him talking about there is no try. Just that whole speech. It's just so powerful. And when you're that young, when you're 10 years old watching it for the first time, you don't quite get how powerful that message is. And I specifically, and it's funny, I specifically remember sitting there in class and doing my presentation, because I did a combination of Star Wars and Star Trek. And the professor was really very they didn't get science fiction. They couldn't understand the allegory between science fiction and real life, and how the concepts translates into the human soul. And the whole class kind of got behind me, and they're like, look, the point of his presentation, it isn't about Romulans. It isn't about the Force. It's about like believing in yourself and just getting your mindset to where you can achieve anything you want. And that's what Star Wars means to me. It's like that's I think one of the core principles of Star Wars, becoming the person that you want to be.
This is great. This is speaking of which, with the Force, I have a little thing here. We are seeing in internet many unboxes and all of that. You see that in our many places.
Oh yeah.
What is this? What is this? Read here.
Más atrás, Gaby.
The Force. It's just the Force. I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the Force. And I have another one. This one. This is made here in Argentina.
Oh yeah. Luke's hand. Yeah.
This is good. Luke's hand. This is a great collection. Why the Imperial Army? You, what the Imperial Army?
That's a darn good question. Why not the rebels? You know, it's actually because first of all, it's fun, but second of all, it's like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I have a small rebel army. I have, you know, I've customized some X-wings, and you know, and in my mind, if I set up this huge battle between 1,000 Imperials and maybe 100 rebels, it's like the fact that the rebels can overcome and beat this massive force, that's kind of the fun of it. So it's like, you know, it's just creating this massive force for the little guy, for the underdog to overcome.
Yeah, sure. I'm also fan for the Imperial Army. I have also, I hear the one book is in Spanish. This book, you know this book? You.
I don't think so. No.
In Spanish, soldados de asalto, stormtroopers, soldados de asalto in Spanish. Is all the history for it's authors Ryder Wyndham and Adam Bray. Prologue with John Boyega. Then I'm also very fan for the Imperial Army. All of that. Can we see your little or great Imperial Army?
Yes, if you could bear with me to, let's see how I can do this to kind of, can I flip it around? Will I be able to flip around so I can do oh, here we go. All right, give me a second. Let me let me walk over and I'll show you the thing. I spent all morning getting this up and ready. All right, here we go. All
right. No, I see before in the video you present. No,
I really wish that I could have it set up permanently, but I just don't have the space for it yet. There's a few holes just because I have figures doing other things, but I broke it down very militarily. Like one box is a company. No. One box is a platoon, rather. One box is a platoon. And then there's 5 platoons to a company. So like, for example, if there's 3 infantry companies. These are my 3 infantry companies. 1, 2, 3 platoons are just straight stormtroopers. Then I have special teams, some biker scouts, snipers, heavy gunners, and commandos. And then I have an HQ, which just has support officers and stuff like that. And then let's see. And then after the infantry, let's see, this is more special teams. So I have, oh, here we go. You know, shore troopers and Mimban troopers, some sand troopers, and then my special ops special teams, and just more, you know, more HQ, and then my mechs. So that start off with some like aerial support, like space troopers, and I have guys who fly, jump troopers and stuff like that. These are all ATST drivers. I actually have 16 ATSTs. Let's see. Then mech drivers, so AT-ATs, tanks. These are the cannon gunners, and then Imperial transports drivers. Then TIE fighters. I have regular TIE fighters, TIE interceptors, TIE strikers, and then bombers. And then more support. And then there's a general HQ. So you have your security, your engineers, your intelligence, and so forth. And I just have an honor guard, and then their support. That's basically the gist. That's one battalion. That's about 1,200 troopers.
It's amazing. ¿Qué pensás, Adri?
No, me voy a poner a llorar. I'm going to cry. It's incredible. It's amazing.
There's more.
Well, the goal is
Mhm.
I'm if oh, here, let me put this back on. If you've seen if you're keeping up with my videos,
Yeah.
so my very first video was a time lapse, me setting the troopers up, which I'm sure most people seen. It's at 20,000 views. But I work for a motion control studio. It's a tabletop studio, and they built their own motion control rig. And I've done tons of jobs with them, so they know what I do. And I asked them if I could use their motion control rig to reshoot setting that up and then doing some nice motion control shots, like sweeping over the army, pushing in and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. But I have to do a lot of work for it. I still have a bunch of ships to open up. I got some stuff to paint. I'm still working on whitening. Some of the stormtroopers have yellowed. So it's like, it's a series of steps before I can actually go and shoot a new video in HD and make it hopefully look super sharp.
In this video, is your daughter? Your daughter is the scientist explaining.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
I see
that's my daughter Grace.
It seems like German, no? I explained that is.
I wrote it as a bad Russian accent, but it just needed to be a bad accent regardless.
No problem,
that was the whole key.
No problem.
Tell us, please, your Twitter account and your YouTube account.
Oh, well, yeah. So, my moniker is the Imperial Communique. That's my YouTube channel. And then I also have that on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, so that's my little thing. And then that battalion, that army, I've dubbed the 88th Eternal Battalion.
The 88th Eternal Battalion, yeah.
Yeah, 80. I graduated high school in 88, and it just seems to be my lucky number. So it just keeps popping up. So I'm like, yeah, may as well.
Perfect, right.
Yeah.
I also hear at the Star Wars universe, so people say it's all about the community. It's everything for my childhood. It's a great story, and you say pretty the same thing. It's all about my childhood. Like us here in Argentina.
Right. It's childhood, but it's also, it's also art. I mean, it's like I'm out here, I'm working, I do my work because of Star Wars. It inspired me to become a filmmaker. And there's so many of my friends who are inspired by Star Wars, and a lot of them are working on Star Wars. Like a friend of mine is he writes for all the animated shows. And then I have friends who work on the Mandalorian and on Kenobi, so it's like, and they're all, and a lot of them are just inspired. We're just so inspired, and they're so geeked out to actually be involved with something they grew up with. It's
sure. Who is your favorite Star Wars character? Because I see in your videos the stormtrooper here, and stormtrooper driving, stormtrooper in the set, stormtrooper everything.
Yeah, but I was a Han Solo fan. Who didn't love Han Solo? He was imperfect. Luke Skywalker aside, which is our protagonist and hero. Like Han had the biggest arc in Star Wars. He went from somebody who really didn't give a care, who was out for himself, and he evolved to becoming a hero, and I think that's the thing that really, latches on to people, that inspires them, just seeing that transformation.
Interesting. And which planet in the Star Wars universe would you live on?
I'd have to say Naboo because it's beautiful,
Okay.
I feel like I could go there. If I go to Italy, I could go to Naboo.
Yeah, sure. Why not? No, or also here in Argentina, Iguazu Falls. Buenos Aires, the glaciers.
But then again, I could go up north and I could go to Endor.
Endor, right?
Yeah.
If what one question, what one piece of Star Wars technology do you want to have?
Ooh, I mean, just the hyperdrive. That opens everything up. That would be just world changing.
Yeah, sure. Interesting. Yeah. What would you do with force powers?
Oh God. I would not have to reach for the remote control anymore. Right.
This is very Plimpton, very real.
Come on. How many times have us type of people been sitting there on the couch and remote's over there and we're just like, if only we had the force. We are very fans here in Argentina, working in tourism. Wait, you don't think in Argentina this is a probably location to film, to take a film, not only for Star Wars, locations. We are many locations because we are hot in the north and it's very cold in the south. There's many, and also the currency change is convenient for the United States, or also for other countries. Look, I mean, I'm not involved with locations, but I just had I just had a conversation with this commercial director who was shooting a feature. I think they were going to scout in South America. And it's like, sometimes, films are just all about exotic locations. And I'm actually surprised that there's not more of at least there's not more filmmaking down south in South America. But again, it's like things, I don't know, things always change as soon as they find that very unique looking landscape, that they'll spare no expense to get there. I'm surprised, James, that the Bond movies haven't been down there.
Because also in the Mandalorian, the landscapes are in the studio. It's
right.
360 studio. Yeah, right.
Right. I was blown away. I mean, it's like, it's so seamless. Because I remember watching it and without knowing too much about the technology, I'm like, where is that? Because I knew they were shooting here. And I feel like I know every place that they shoot. Like in the second season, when they went, when Grogu got kidnapped, it's like, I could drive there in 20 minutes. I knew exactly where that was, but everywhere else, I was like blown away that it was on a stage with screen projections. I mean, because I was literally, I'm like, where is that? They can't be traveling that far.
Yeah, sure. No. Yeah. Yes, the problem of the and also the locations translated. Was first and all the things, the technology, because I don't know, we have the same technology to do that here in abroad, as I said. But
well, it's a lot, but a lot of it comes down to like convenience, because it's like filmmaking's tough. It's a 12-hour day, and it takes a small army to get it done. And I can understand the appeal of going to a soundstage day after day and just having some kind of base to work out of. I get that appeal, but sometimes just being there live out in the open, you can't replace it. But I get both sides to it.
Yeah, sure. What do you think about the next seasons of Star Wars, the next movies, the next projections?
What do I think?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, look, it all comes down to the story. It's
Maybe you can write.
right. I mean, look, it's like the original trilogy worked for specific reasons. They hit certain beats. They just followed through on certain core principles of the hero's journey. And the rest of the features, look, for as good looking as they were, and as the merits that the prequels had and the sequel trilogies had, I think there were fundamental flaws in the way the stories were told. As I learned the craft of filmmaking, it was just disappointing. I mean, it was like, take Jar Jar Binks. It's like, without trying to be too critical, but it's a character that defies the hero's journey. Because even the kind of the characters that they're based off of in the Hidden Fortress, they have these two characters that R2-D2 and C-3PO were based off of, but Jar Jar Binks is definitely influenced off of those guys too. They were very consistent, but they, at least at the end of the movie, they in the Hidden Fortress, it seemed like they had learned something and gone through something. But with Jar Jar Binks, it's like, I hate to say, like, he was a buffoon throughout the entire movie, and he remained a buffoon. And just a simple act of, like, in the Battle of Naboo on the ground, instead of him fumbling the balls in that thing, if he would have pulled the pin, that would have been a transformative moment for that character. He would have gone from, like, somebody who just was hapless and had these things happen to him to actually controlling what's going on around him. And that's character development. And that would have been a small thing, but I think that would have been a huge thing for the Jar Jar Binks character. And I think there were little flaws like that throughout the trilogy and throughout the prequel trilogy. And the sequel trilogy, I still can't even put my finger on.
No, wait, I know,
yeah. Sort of like where that faltered, it's like, I mean, it's like I liked all the performers, and I think there was merit to everything, but I didn't see a through line of, like, why I like these guys. I was just told that they're heroes and didn't quite kind of get what made them the heroes that they became to be. So
very interesting. Yeah. I'm totally.
The Mandalorian, though, is like, that's like, it's blown away. I mean, it's like, it's an imperfect show, but it's like, it's beautiful. It takes its time. It's just, it's very simple concepts, and simple always works. And it has a great hook. It's like, that's the thing. I was like amazed at the end of that first episode. I'm like, you can't get a better, you can't get a better
the
hook.
first episode, it's all remember the trilogy. It's all of,
they were very, they definitely took a big homage to it, and watching it through, especially when they're back in the second season, going through that Imperial base where the clones were. It's like they really emulated some of the photography from both Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it was just like it's a warm, fuzzy feeling. It was just I was home watching that stuff.
Yeah, sure. It's awesome. It's the remembering. It's the Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, right. It's remembering all of that.
It's just getting more comfortable. You guys are great, so like I feel real at ease. So it's just me getting over my nerves. You cannot believe how much it takes for me to get good takes when I do my videos. It's like.
Oh, I see you. Yeah, you're sure. I see your videos. Everything with the scientists, all of that.
Yeah.
You are there. No, you are there. This the end. I finished.
yeah. I honestly don't know where that comes from too. That's just me being goofy. That's just me trying to be silly. And you know what? Some of that's from is I have a guy that I work for who's a commercial producer. He helped me out a lot. He's a good guy, but he keeps up on my videos, and he watched one of them, and then he just texted me. He's like, Anthony, you're such a dork. I love it. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's like I own it. You know, it's just fun being goofy, and I don't take myself too seriously, obviously. So if it can make people laugh, because the last one, there were just little bits that people kept texting me. It's like, I'll be sure to keep a safe distance from the sun. You know, some people got the airplane reference, and just, you know, just being spontaneous.
Yeah, it's being spontaneous, more authentic. This is yeah. Also here in the Un Mandaloriano, the Mandalorian, we have the character with the helmet, the ever helmet here and there. It's yes, it's spontaneous. Yeah, right. Fred, next time we have with Bill Clinton, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Bill contact us. They say I don't know. It's in another state. It says middle of August. Maybe here with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Just ask them a lot of Beatles questions.
Yeah, you sure. We love Bill Clinton. Thanks. See you next time. We appreciate from South America here have your testimony. Then we are agradecidos, ¿no? Estamos muy agradecidos. We are very pleased to have you here, Anthony.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Bueno, Adrián, si querés decir algo, the next time.
Y la próxima hacemos un vivo, si le parece, así la gente nos hace preguntas y podemos ir respondiéndolas. No,
claro, okay.
No hay ningún problema.
Okay.
Como siempre, y ya me despido en español, muchísimas gracias por tu tiempo. Thank you about your time with us. And see you the next time.
Yeah, sure. See you next time, Anthony. Thank you very much.
It's a sincere pleasure, and let me know when it's up and ready, and I'll promote too as well.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right,
Good
guys.
luck.
All right.
See you
Have a
next
good
time.
one. All right.
Bye.